Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jeanne Gallagher, and this is Discover Rising Tides, how the outside makes the inside better. And we're glad to have you here. And we're talking with Denise. And Denise, this month's conversation is,
Today, I don't know about this month, but we could do this all
or
month.
today, yeah, sure.
Whatever, we'll figure that out. Today, we are going to talk about the great
Ooh,
stretching, and how this is not something that you should just think about doing. It's something that you should be doing every single day.
mm,
And it's, you have a yoga practice, right? So, and this is
mhm,
something that, you have been doing for many years. For some people, that's too much, and that's fine.
mhm.
But what I want to people to understand is just a few minutes of stretching every day and several times a day. It could be 2 minutes here and 2 minutes there, but appropriate stretching can actually change your life. I mean, literally make you feel better, give you more energy, help you sleep. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this was I have a client named Lisa. I'll call her Lisa. It's not really her name. But I was on a call with her, maybe it was our first call, and it was about a month ago. And while I was on the phone with her or on the Zoom call with her, she was kind of sitting around, she seemed very restless and very uncomfortable, visibly uncomfortable while we were chatting. So I asked her about it. And she's like, oh, my neck hurts, my shoulders, my back. If I sit too long, I get sciatica. Well, this is a lady who's about the same age as I am at 53. Um, Works corporate America, busy schedule, all of that, not never has enough time, right? We're all guilty of that. Um, so the first thing I said to her, I said, well, usually you know this about me. When I start working with people, we do eat real food, make good decisions, be accountable. She really needed to be comfortable first,
Mhm.
because focusing on food when she was uncomfortable and had no energy really didn't make sense. So what I did was I gave her just a couple, a short tailored stretching routine. Um, just to do it, I had her do it in the morning because she said that was when she first got out of bed, while she's waiting for her coffee. That would be, the few minutes of peace and quiet that she would have. And she did this for about a month, between calls. So I talked to her, and then I talked to her for a few minutes, maybe 2 weeks later, and then our full call 4 weeks later. And visibly, she was different. She sat taller. She was much more free. You can just tell, like, just the way her body movements were. And so I asked her, and she said she feels better. Her body moves, like, it feels like she hasn't moved this well since she was a teenager. And she said the thing that was the most amazing to her was the fact that she all of a sudden was sleeping through the night. She
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
realize that she was so uncomfortable that she was waking up several times in the night. And this was just the change was just by doing some simple stretches every day.
Mm.
So when you tell me about your yoga practice, you do your yoga practice in the morning, yes?
I do because it fits into my schedule. And if I schedule myself I go to a class, I don't practice by myself. I I should be able to practice by myself, but I know that my stick to itiveness and what I'm going to get out of it is better in a community. So I do that. And I go in the morning. It fits better with my calendar. It's not necessarily because it feels better in my body. It honestly, it plays less head games because if I schedule it in the afternoon and then I have I have a client that I need to talk with, it's that whole head case of now I can't go. So I actually have started to block off my calendar so the yoga practice doesn't affect my work calendar because I go at 6 o'clock in the morning. So from 6 to 7:30, I'm in a yoga class, and then I actually go to a CrossFit class 4 days a week from 8:30 to 9:30. So I block my calendar off. I don't start my day till 10. And it took me my morning is when I am the most productive for anything. And so it was really very different. Afternoon is I'm really good at snoozing or, goofing off or procrastinating or whatever those things are. And so it was really challenging for me to be mentally okay with blocking the time off. And once I started to block the time off, that made a huge difference. I was giving myself permission to take care of myself.
Yes.
So
And I think you just coined a new phrase, stick to it.
stick to itiveness.
Stick to itiveness. I like it.
Yes.
Okay. And so
Five
that does make
syllables.
sense. There are a lot of people that are like that. My husband Mark is like that. He is so productive in the morning. He gets up, he has his coffee, and by 9 o'clock, he's done more work than most people will do all day long.
Mhm.
And so when, he and I talk about stretching, and we're both runners, so this is something that we talk about quite
Yeah.
often.
You need to double
For
stretch.
Yes, and we'll talk about that. So for most people, I think when they talk about stretching, they're like, "Oh, I don't have time." Blah, blah, blah. But a morning stretching routine, and a morning stretching routine could be like 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Simple things to kind of wake up your body, your mind, and just kind of move much more freely.
Mhm.
Cat cows, side bends. Here's one. I took a yoga class when we were in India a bunch of years ago. And the first exercise we did, other than breathing, was ready? Ready, everyone? This is your first thing you do, first stretch you do in the morning.
Mhm.
Come on, we all have time to do that, right? We could do that several times a day. We could do that while we're sitting at a red light.
And
Simple,
for those
simple.
of you that are listening and not watching, all she's doing is turning her head to her chin to her one shoulder, back to center, and to the other shoulder. It
Good point.
is
As I'm sitting
really
here looking
important.
at you.
Yeah, it is really the movement is everything. We expect to be able to, and this is where you come to a point in your life when you realize you have to do the work and able to do the things. And if you
Yes.
can't, and if you don't do the work before, you're not going to be able to do the things. And those things can be defined as walking upstairs or hiking 20 miles. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as there's some movement, right?
Right.
But you have to do the pre-work as part of your regular routine.
Right. As part of life. I mean, you see your cat, the dog, they get up, first thing they do is they stretch,
The
right?
stretch.
That's where the
Mhm.
cat cow stretch comes from. So what does it do? What are the benefits other than obviously feeling good and feeling more movement? It actually boosts circulation. Sorry, I put an extra syllable in there, and increases energy. And then when you take that few minutes to stretch, you're actually much more alert. You're waking your body up in a very gentle way,
Mhm.
right? And rather than kind of just jumping out at something like there's so many people that I know, they're like, I'm just going to start running. And they just start running. I'm like, I've got a little gentle, prep work before that. But another reason why I think this is so important in the morning is it actually stretching promotes clarity and focus,
Mm.
calm. It's a grounded way to start your day. How many times do we jump out of bed and just like start the day, and all of a sudden by 9:30 when we have caffeinated connections meeting on a Tuesday, are we absolutely crazy because our morning routine was a little off today? That was
Oh, you didn't stretch this morning, eh?
I did not stretch this morning. I have stretched. But I honestly, it took me taking myself out of my morning routine this morning,
Mhm.
totally messed me up. And it's 5 minutes. I call it Denise yoga. It's a combination of, different exercises that I've seen, some that I learned when I was in India that day. That week, I wasn't in India for a day. Things that I've seen, trainers that I've worked with. And truly, it's just a matter of those 5 minutes can absolutely determine how my day is. So, benefits of starting in the morning, just those few morning
Mhm.
stretches. Again, activate your muscles and joints. Start the day in a positive way, right?
Mhm.
Other types of stretching, I'm going to talk about two others. Dynamic stretching. And this is if you've ever been to a race or a walk or something like that, marathon 5K, and you see people kind of bouncing up and down or kind of just doing like what they call it, a tin soldier kind of stretch, where you're literally just kind of swinging your legs and moving your body, moving your hips. So it's not a static stretch. It's actually stretching while you're moving. And you can actually feel when you start doing these these active stretching. For those of you who are not watching, I'm actually moving my arms back and forth. I don't know why. But dynamic stretching benefits. Active movements takes your muscle, you're working your muscles and your joints at the same time to their full range of motion. Now, when you start, full range of motion may not be where you want it, but you can't go from zero range of motion to full range of motion very quickly, unless you're 10 years old. We're a lot more pliable then, but as we get older, we're not as pliable. So being able to take these your muscles and joints through a full range of motion will actually help you when you start whatever that action is. Again, whether it's walking, running, hiking, walking up the stairs, carrying, you know, your groceries or pushing your grandkids, whatever it may be. It prepares your body for whatever that activity is, but most importantly, reduces your risk of injury. How many people do you know get injured and if they had started stretching, just done a little stretching before they started whatever the workout or the workout side was, right? And simple things, leg swings, arm circles, hip rotations. Hip rotations are our hips are so neglected. You know, just doing simple hip rotations, you'll be amazed at all of the muscles that you're going, oh, no, I don't have those muscles there. It's amazing how many muscles we have that go into simple movements. But if we don't move that way, the muscles kind of get they get stiff.
Atrophied.
Atrophied. Thank you.
Atrophied.
Right. And again, what are we doing? Increasing blood flow, increasing flexibility. And if it's for athletic performance, you're enhancing your performance. I know this for a fact as a runner. When I start jogging, I mean, I don't just start running if I can't just start running a 9-minute mile. That first half a mile is pretty slow. But before I've even done that, I've done some dynamic stretching just to kind of get my body and my mind ready for the activity. And then, of course, I always talk about like the static stretching, or we all talk about static stretching, and that's what we think that we're supposed to be doing all the time. Static stretching is for relaxation and yes, flexibility too. But the importance of static stretching is after activity. And again, that activity could be athletic performance. It could be working in the yard, whatever it may be. One of the things I remember most when I first moved to Minnesota was one day we got a lot of snow and I couldn't get outside my back door. And so I got the shovel. Not that I've shoveled snow a lot in my life, but I shoveled snow that day. And I did not stretch beforehand, which was okay, not the best. You know what was worse? Not stretching after it.
Afterwards.
That's when my body, my muscles got so sore and so tight. So by stretching afterwards, you know, you get you are getting rid of the soreness before it happens. You're not going to be as stiff and you're going to recover faster.
Moving around that lactic acid so it's not stuck makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is really important, you know, we talk about stretching and this is great for all sorts of things. I think we forget, most importantly, stretching improves our posture, reduces tension, of course, but it improves our posture. Think about when your shoulders are sore and your neck is sore. You've been sitting at a computer for a while and you kind of feel hunched over. You know, you're not sitting up straight, you know, actually affects your breathing as well. When you start stretching on a regular basis, you know, and static stretch, 15 seconds to 60 seconds, all of a sudden you stand straighter. When you stand straighter, you breathe straighter, you breathe better. Reduces stress. And it also, because of the correct breathing, actually helps with mental well-being. So stretching and mental well-being seems like a stretch, right? They actually
It is
do
definitely connected.
connect.
Yes. Thank you, Denise. Moving your body. So important to do on a regular basis, and incorporating these small things into your daily routine is really vital. So Denise, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. Today's show was sponsored by Seaside Solutions, my financial services company. As a business owner, it's easy to be pulled in many different directions, and often taking care of yourself plummets to the bottom of the list. For me, I find myself outside to reground. My time outdoors helps me manage my day more effectively and be more present for my clients. Through this, Discover Rising Tides was born. At Seaside Solutions, we truly believe that education is the foundation of financial wellness. Our primary focus is to provide guidance that is designed to help you achieve your long-term financial goals and visions. Working with a plan allows space for doing more things that you love, like being outside to make the inside better. If I can help you create or realign your plan, or if you would like to be added to my weekly newsletter, please let me know. This week's topic was 5 ways to set more achievable goals. Your referral means the big, beautiful world to me, and if I can help, please let me know. And thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.